Hey there, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of the Sims Machinima and Animation Convention 2024. I'm Dale of Draufilm.
And I'm Bree of Simsberry.
And we couldn't be more thrilled to have you join us for the final day. It's been an incredible ride so far, but trust, the quality just does not stop.
Today is all about diving headfirst into the unknown, exploring the wildest imaginations, and stepping into worlds beyond our own.
All through the lens of some of the most talented Sims Machinima creators out there. Duh.
We're going on a journey of discovery, and we're so excited to take you along for the ride.
So, let's not waste another moment. To kick off this final day with a bang, we're starting with a creator whose work always leaves us in awe.
Let's wither our way into the world of our very own WINTERSIMS.
Hey everyone, I'm Winter, also known as WINTERSIMS on YouTube, and I'm the director of Attachment Theory. It's a Sims 2 subtitle series I began a little over 2 years ago, and there are currently 9 episodes available. I'm excited to be participating in SMAC again this year, and I'm looking forward to answering some of your questions. Is it difficult to keep track of all your characters' journeys, emotional growth, and/or interpersonal relationships? How do you keep all of that in mind when you write? Do you have it on a document, or does it all come from the noggin? While it's definitely fair to say I have a lot of the show's information just swirling around in my head, I also do my best to write things down in case I ever forget. I'm not as organized as some directors out there, but I do have a couple documents that I rely on heavily for planning. I call one of them my idea dump, which is basically just a huge bullet point list of ideas I've had for storylines, character traits, headcanons, etc. It's very long and very disorganized, but when I'm in the process of outlining or writing a script, I'll usually go back and scroll through and work on incorporating the ideas that I've written down. It's a really dynamic process for me. Like, some things have been set in stone since day one, and other things I'm still kind of waiting for the right idea to strike me. This is definitely the most organized I've ever been for a project though, and I can feel that it's made it easier for me to keep things consistent from the start of the show until now. One of the things I admire most with your series is the way that you make the characters come alive on screen. You have a way of capturing exactly what they are thinking each moment without them having to say a word. A lot of that comes from how you use animations and camera angles or movement, I believe. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Is that something you've been working on consciously, or has that skill of yours developed naturally? When you film, have you already planned ahead what animations or camera movements to use to get the effect? Or is it something that you do in the moment because it feels right? First, I just have to say what a wonderful comment this is, and I definitely don't deserve this amount of praise. The simple answer is that it's a mix of both. For camera movements, I don't really plan that out beforehand. I don't storyboard or anything like that, but I always have an image in my head of how I imagine the scene being laid out. I try to have a mix of static shots and dynamic shots. I think if every shot moves, it can be a bit disorienting, but if none of the shots move, it feels a bit stagnant. I'd say about 80% of which one I choose is just based off a feeling in the moment. The animations are something I really feel that I've improved on over the last couple years, and I'd attribute that to having more experience filming and also starting to rely more heavily on overlay animations. It truly is one of the best things about Machinima and Sims 2. There's literally no end to the possibilities when you overlay 2, 3, or 4 different animations and can get a much more specific emotion out of a character. I don't always know exactly which animations I want to use, but I definitely have some favorites that can get me at least part of the way to what I want. The rest is just a lot of trial and error during the filming process. Interacting with fans is always a mixed bag. Sometimes you discover things about your story and how it is perceived from the outside that you never even thought you would. What are some surprising comments fans have made about Attachment Theory, and how did those comments impact you? This can also be about crack ships, unlikely fan theories, etc. This is so true, and it's one of the things I love most about sharing my stories with people. I don't know if Attachment Theory has any crack ships, at least not that I've heard of, so if anyone has any, please let me know, because I'd love to hear them. There have definitely been some instances where I've expected the audience reaction to go one way, but it's actually gone another. One example that comes to mind without spoiling anything is in episodes 6 and 7, where Samir faces a bit of a moral dilemma. I fully expected everyone to side with him, given that he's a fan favorite of the show, but most of the comments were very explicitly against what he was thinking of doing. I think it's cool though, because it goes to show that every person's viewing experience is unique. Can you discuss the importance of pacing and rhythm in storytelling, and how you achieve this in your series? Absolutely. First and foremost, I want to say that pacing is something I'm still working to improve. I also think it's just very subjective. Some people love those long, drawn-out scenes that indulge a bit more in the visuals, whereas other people love a quicker, more true-to-life pace. I think as long as it's consistent, it doesn't really matter what you choose to do. I'd consider myself to be somewhere in the middle of that. I'll usually watch my stuff back after I've edited and adjust things based on my own impressions. So some clips might feel a bit dragged out and others a bit rushed. After a few times watching it back, it usually settles into a rhythm that I feel comfortable with. You have a fantastic subtitle series, but you still use sound effects. Can you tell me why that is? What role does music and sound design play in your filmmaking process? I like using sound effects when I can because I feel like it adds another layer of immersion that can sometimes be hard to feel with a subtitle project. I'll be the first to admit though that I'm wildly inconsistent when it comes to my sound effect use. Usually I'll incorporate sound effects when it's something that the characters are interacting with or reacting to in a scene. Like, obviously I don't put in a sound every single time a door opens or closes, but if there's an instance where a character hears the door in the show and then reacts by turning around or looking at it, that's when I'll put in a sound. I spend way more time worrying about music, as I'm sure anyone who watches my projects could probably guess. It's like one of the most enjoyable parts for me, finding a song that fits the tone of a scene perfectly. Sometimes I feel like I put more thought into the song selection than I do into the plot, so needless to say, it's definitely a very important aspect of the filmmaking process for me. It's pretty rare to see someone not use Sims 4. Can you discuss the unique features or aspects of Sims 2 that you find particularly well suited for your filmmaking style? I think my filmmaking style is the way it is because of Sims 2. It's the only game I've ever used for Machinima, so I think through trial and error, I just found a style that works well for me. I guess maybe there's a part of me that enjoys keeping the old art form alive, but it's mostly out of convenience and familiarity. I kind of feel like anything I say in support of Sims 2 will sound like a dig on Sims 4, but I just want to be clear that I know next to nothing about what it's like to produce Machinima in Sims 4. One thing I love about 2 is that it feels like it was made with creatives in mind. Like, there are so many features of the UI that lend themselves to Machinima so well. Literally up until earlier this year, I was still using the in-game video capture for all of my shots, and it actually worked well. And when I was learning how to do it for the first time way back in 2010, it was pretty easy to teach myself. It didn't look good, but it was there. I just appreciate the fact that those kinds of things were taken into consideration when the game was being developed. What are your tips for anybody starting a new subtitle series? My first tip would be to absolutely go for it. There's something to be said about how accessible a subtitle series is, so for anyone looking to try Machinima for the first time, it's a great way to get started. There are also no time constraints as far as casting or waiting for lines, so you can work at your own pace, which is really nice. When it comes to writing lines for a subtitle project, I try to approach it the same way I would a voiceover project. So I'll say the lines out loud, or just try to make sure it would still sound natural if it was being spoken as opposed to being written. My writing style tends to be a bit wordy and over-embellished, so it's also a good way for me to keep myself in check. Otherwise, people might be reading blocks and blocks of text, and I'm pretty sure nobody wants that. I also put a lot of thought into how long the lines appear on screen. I'm a fast reader, but I know not everyone is, or there are people who may be reading in a second or third language, so making sure lines appear long enough for people to actually read and process them is a good rule of thumb. Your series touches on so many important and heavy themes. What do you hope audiences will take away from attachment theory? This is a really loaded question. I always joke with myself that if attachment theory had a tagline, it would probably be, "It's wholesome until it's not." I do worry that I kind of deluded people at the start of the show, because I know it starts a bit like a slice of life drama with a hint of murder mystery, but as it progresses, it quickly devolves into some really heavy stuff. One of the things I'm proudest of is how complex all the characters are. I know people are complicated isn't really a groundbreaking takeaway, but I think it's one of the things the show does best. You see all the characters at their absolute best, their absolute worst, and literally everything in between. Over the course of the show, you find yourself empathizing with the most annoying characters and getting pissed off at the most adored characters. Ultimately, I don't think the show really has a true message or moral. I just hope that at the end of it all, people are able to see bits of themselves in the characters on screen. There were a few questions I wasn't able to answer due to time, but I want to thank everyone who submitted questions, and I also want to make sure I thank all the creators who worked so hard to make this event possible. I hope you all enjoyed my panel, and please enjoy the rest of the convention.
Don't move. SMAC will be right back after the break. Up next, we're here with Phoenix Artisan. Followed by April Dark shares everything candy.
Hi Phoenix, welcome to this year's SMAC. How are you doing today?
I am doing pretty all right.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you this year. So,
Awesome.
I have some questions submitted by your fans. Are you ready to answer them?
Absolutely. Okay.
When did you start voice acting, and what made you want to pursue this passion?
So I actually started when I was 16. Like I want to say the beginning of like 2017. I had been acting for a few years by then. First started like early elementary school,
Ooh.
but I'd always been a fan of like cartoons and like animation and anime and stuff like that growing up. So naturally, it was like a collision course of me figuring out that there was a way, like there was a bridge between like acting and like cartoons and stuff like that. So once I started finding out more about it, I stumbled upon the website Casting Call Club,
Yeah.
and I've been voice acting ever since.
So next question. You're relatively new to the Sims Machinima community. How are you enjoying it so far? What do you like about it, and what are any things you dislike about it, or that you think could be improved?
I'm having a blast so far with the whole community. It's like to have Ward University as like my first entry was, I think, quite amazing. And I've been like constantly amazed with all the content that's out there. Like I just see brief snippets or series in general, like ideas that just blow my mind, and I'm just honored to be in a community full of like such talented individuals who have the patience to put this kind of stuff together. Because I swear, I think I watched a video of like the basis of putting it together, and I couldn't even fully fathom or finish it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It takes
I
us
have
a
a
while.
great respect for like creators. Oh yeah, oh yeah. What I like about it, I think I basically covered it. Like the great ideas, the great stories and characters that I've come across. Love all that. Where can it improve? I'm not like super deep into like the whole like community. I don't know like everything. I hear rumblings of some things, so I don't think I could give like a good answer for where it could improve. I guess just the natural progression of just keep pushing each other, keep inspiring others to tell more great stories through this medium.
Yeah, and I agree. I think what's good about the community is that we all support one another. So that's like a really big thing that I like to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So next question. When auditioning for a role, what are the things that initially draw you to them? Are you looking to audition for more roles? And if yes, what kind of roles / genres do you feel like tackling? Are there any roles you would never pick?
When I audition, some like it varies. Sometimes
Yeah.
the look of a character will catch my interest, but then I feel like it has to have like the information presented about the character has to grip me first, and sometimes that the information alone can be what draws me to an audition. Uh, like if there's not enough information, sometimes the look alone will like maybe there's like a sentence description, but like the character looks interesting enough, so maybe I'll go for it. Um, but yeah, those are like the main things I look for. Uh, I guess I'm gonna be basic. Like I do, no, I don't really mind uh, anything in particular. I mean, I do. I guess I've done a lot of the action, adventure stuff like that. I haven't done a lot. I've done a couple of like romance-based things, I think, if I remember correctly. It's interesting, but I feel like I like to keep my interests open.
So next question. Can you describe your process for finding the humor in your character and developing their comic timing?
Oh boy.
That's
All
really
right.
good because like you're really good.
Yeah,
I've seen some of your roles. You're really funny and you're really good.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I feel like a lot of the credit does go to the writers I've worked with, like the creatives. Like a lot of it is like their material. I just try to elevate it and bring it to life. So, what I'll do is, I'll look over the material and maybe the material isn't necessarily like comedic in nature, but I find doing a lot of takes and playing with the musicality is a good way to like figure out what you can do, and like if you can get like the gears in your head turning, maybe play around with emphasis on words or like spacing out and just like breaking down each sentence or everything you say to a sort of musicality. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Just like maybe like you take inspiration from elsewhere. Like maybe like if you have like your favorite show or like a movie you really like and like characters who are like really funny that you like, you can draw inspiration from them, use it. Maybe like their work will give you ideas. Use that, break it down, and maybe like try to input some of your own personality into it, and then go back to the musicality and try to bring it all together. Not an easy thing to do, but like with years of practice, you'll eventually get it down.
Yeah, that sounds like perfect. Like giving it that own little twist from you,
Yeah.
So next question. How do you balance staying true to the script with adding your own creativity and interpretation to your voice-over performance?
Okay. Pretty good question again. So my thing is I am very much for the authenticity of my characters. Even though I may not be 100% similar, I take the information that I'm given and I try my best to breathe life like as authentically as I can, because I always tell myself that if I don't believe it myself, how is the audience going to believe it? So I always voice my lines with the intent of people are going to listen to this. I need them to be as invested in this as like I am in this character, because it's always like like probably the thing that got me into voice acting is like seeing the performances, the heartfelt heartfelt performances that like would draw emotions out of me. Like I like feeling like the tears, like the happiness, like the highs, the lows,
Yeah, yeah.
everything. That has always been a part of like my mindset when going into playing any of the characters. Just think of your audience and try your best to captivate them.
That's so. Are some other characters that you voiced? I know we know you mostly for Travis from Ward. So is there other ones out there that you're voicing in the Sims community?
Yes. There is there's actually a couple of series. Some have released, some haven't, but right now the ones that have released, I voiced Lance Goodman in My Awkward Youth by Star Shows.
Oh yes, yes, I saw that. You're so funny.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also voice Tobias, Toby Robinson in Candy by April Dark.
Oh yes.
Just recently released, a lot of fun to be in, and also Lucas in Corrupted Souls by Mateo. Well, I mean, I guess I can say this one too because like the cast video got announced and I'm in it. So I recently got cast as the character Gabriel in Death AM.
Oh yeah, I just saw that casting. That's so exciting.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm excited for everything for it. So yeah.
Oh, I look forward to
that's
seeing
about
that. Yeah. And hopefully any
Thank
other
you.
projects that you voice hopefully will come out soon.
Oh yeah, fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
we
fingers
need you
crossed.
more in the community. Like I'm like I when I hear you in a new show, I'm like, oh my god, that's
Oh yeah,
Travis.
absolutely. I'd love to do more in this community. Anyone that is willing to have me, I will take them up on their offer.
Yeah. Next question. This one would probably make you think. What is your favorite part of voicing Travis, and what is the most memorable line?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. My favorite part of voicing Travis, he's like personality wise, he's kind of I envy him a bit, I wish I was that personable like in real life. He's just got this cool, fun, easygoing way about
Yeah.
him.
He's
that,
very
like, he's
likable.
just Oh yeah, absolutely. And he just connect with a lot of people. Like you think like in real life that's a little tough for me. Like I do enjoy connecting with people, but I'm a little socially awkward, but and I feel like in Travis I get to go beyond that and be larger than life and do what I'd like to do in real life. But like I love that aspect of Travis. And favorite line. Oh man, you can't do this to me.
Because he has
He's had so many.
He's had
He's
so
had
many.
so many great. Yeah. And because I don't remember them all, but I remember some, but I don't want to say just like one, and, like forget any of like because there have been some like really really great lines that I've genuinely loved the delivery of. Like watching the final project, seeing that. Yeah, I can't give an answer to that. I'm sorry. I would give an answer, but like there's so many great.
I pick. I like everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So my last and final question, and this one is a doozy. So, if you can voice any other character in Ward University, who would you be and why? What would you do as their character?
Oh. Wow. Oh wow, that's
a toughie.
crap. That is extremely tough. If I were to voice any other character in Ward University, I want to say, okay, I will say, I'd love to give Jasper like a shot because I originally auditioned for Jasper. That was one of the roles I originally auditioned for. I thought, he looked pretty cool. I think there was like a base description, and it intrigued me. And there was a level of familiarity there, so I would have definitely brought some sort of. It's not like a one-to-one in real life, but like there's stuff in that I've experienced in real life that I would definitely bring to the character, especially relationship-wise.
Yeah.
I definitely use those experiences to like influence like the performance. I'd try to bring all those conflicting emotions to life in that. I think I might have also auditioned for Thorn. I don't know if I'd be able to do the character justice like not the way Rich does.
Oh yeah,
I could.
he gives me goosebumps. Like that.
Oh
character,
yeah.
Oh my god, like that character is so
Absolutely.
creepy and scary.
Oh yeah. Love Rich though. Absolutely
Talented.
killer performance.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, Jasper, maybe Ezra too, actually. Because again, looks cool. Story was interesting. How'd go about playing? I guess I could really tap into the sadness that the character has. Like if you've seen the series, you know.
Yeah.
That the character has a bit of a tragic and sort of sad past and history about him. I think I could really relate to, and like it'd be like a lot of fun tapping into that and try to make that like as authentic and as interesting as possible.
Yeah, because he's gone through like so much, and then with you know, just trying to be in love and then losing, and he's just gone through like so much. Like I hope next season like he doesn't. I'm guessing he's gonna go through a lot, but let's just ease up on the poor guy a little bit, you know.
Oh yeah, come on, just a little bit
Just a
would
little
be nice.
bit. Just a little bit. So those are all the questions I have today. So thank you so much for joining us in this year's SMAC. It was good to talk to you.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you. This was a lot of fun.
Hold on, more SMAC to follow these messages. Coming up, April Dark talks about candy. And after, an interview with Simsberry.
Take it back.
Everybody look at me. I walk in the door, you start screaming. Come on, everybody, what you here for? Move your body around like a nympho.
Candy?
It's cotton candy. Going up the sky is cotton candy. Going up the sky is cotton candy. Stacking up your luck is in my cotton candy. Going up the sky is cotton candy.
Hello everyone, I'm April Dark and welcome to the panel dedicated to my current Sims 4 voiceover Machinima series Candy. I've received many questions and I wanted to thank you for each of them. Unfortunately, I won't be able to answer everything due to the time limit, but I did my best to merge my answers to make the most of the time I got. With no further ado, let's jump into it. What inspired you to make Candy? There were many questions about inspiration, so I decided to combine them into one general question. And the answer is, I'm not quite sure. I believe the main inspiration came from music, especially Marina's music videos and song lyrics. The TV show Jane the Virgin, which I really love, also played a big role in my inspiration. Along with many mood or like vibe music playlists on YouTube that are not available unfortunately right now. I wanted to do many things with the show, and I actually did many things I wouldn't have done in the past in terms of machinima making. Specifically, I filmed in The Sims 4, and for the first time I created a non-fantasy show, which was totally out of my comfort zone. Candy is a story focused mostly on the titular main character trying to follow her American dream and become an actress. In the meantime, she deals with past traumas, complicated relationships, and other external problems. On top of that, her town Blossom Creek becomes more and more corrupted. At first, the story was supposed to be quite silly and upbeat, but as I wrote more episodes, it evolved into something much more intense. That's why be sure to read the trigger warnings I'll be placing at the beginning of each episode. Candy is such a fresh and different series. What made you want to tell this story? How did you come up with the main concepts? First of all, thank you so much. I personally don't think Candy is like a really fresh or different series. It's actually the most cliché and random series of mine, but I love it regardless. I think I've covered most of the important things about my project, but how did I come up with the main concepts? For this show, it wasn't that hard. I mostly invented the characters first, focusing on their external and internal goals, and the lie, a mental obstacle they have within themselves. Once I had that, creating the plot was easy. I just had to think of the worst things that could happen to them to further complicate their mental obstacles. I still struggle with the chronology of events and with the right pacing though. What inspired your change from The Sims 3 to Sims 4? Was the transition difficult? What inspired me to switch to Sims 4? Let me think. And the process of switching things up was really difficult for me, as someone who had never really played Sims 4 and had only filmed short machinimas before. However, I think I now have most things figured out. Which character do you think resembles you the most? That's a very interesting question. I think the majority of them do to some extent, because I was so generous that I gifted each of them with my traumas, health problems, and other struggles. Some of the situations were highly dramatized for storytelling, but some of them were one-to-one to how they really happened to me, and I think it's amazing. After all, our personal lives are quite often the most drama-filled, the messiest source of inspiration. Who's your favorite character to write for and why? I like Candy the most, which might come as a surprise because I usually highly dislike my mains. She has her own way of narrating events, still having this naive and perhaps overly optimistic view of the world, despite what she's been through in her life. As for episode 1, her past is still kept a secret, but you're going to get some answers in the next episode, so stay tuned. Of course, Candy has many flaws, but I cannot blame her too much, especially looking at what I'm gonna put her through in future episodes. What character is easiest to write for? I really like questions like that because they make me reflect on my entire writing process so far and analyze certain aspects of my story. I don't think any of my characters were super easy to write, but I found some of them easier to empathize with, which helped me write more realistic dialogues and portray the reactions to events more accurately. Up to now, I've found Candy and Toby the easiest to write because I have a clear vision of who they will become by the end of their stories, including their styles and personalities. They both are quite characteristic, which makes writing even easier. I know that you should have this clarity for all of your characters, but let's be honest, it's not always the case, especially during the very early writing process. I love your style of machinima in both games. Would you ever return to Sims 3? Thank you so much, you made my day. No, there is no way for me to go back to Sims 3 even if I wanted to. I've been having huge problems with this game after switching to using a laptop instead of PC. For now, I cannot even play this game comfortably, and filming would be even more tiring for my laptop. I filmed many series and machinimas in that game, most of which I actually took down from my channel. I think I had like 4 other series I made with Sims 3. Doesn't change the fact that I have many good memories of it, but it's time to move on. Another thing I want to mention may sound controversial, and it's not my intention to call anyone out, but I felt quite isolated from the Sims Machinima community when I was filming in Sims 3. People claim to appreciate stories told in a game and they say they love Sims 3 machinimas, but even now, I notice that many incredible creators who filmed in that game are overlooked. So no hard feelings, it's just something I observed. Any future projects on the horizon to look forward to? I have so many episodes of Candy planned that I think that if I ever manage to complete them all, which is highly unlikely, I would just retire as a Machinima director. The truth is, since 2021 I felt very burned out and I don't think it will ever get better for me. I'm not sure if this hobby is what I want to continue in the future, and I may switch to writing instead. I really wanted to renew Loaded Gun, an old project of mine, and it breaks my heart that I had to cancel it. But I just know that I wouldn't be able to work on both series at once. So no, nothing new is going to appear on the horizon, but for sure, I'm going to do my best to complete Candy, so stay tuned for the new episodes. That's it if it comes to questions. Once again, thank you so much for all of them. I also wanted to say that I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to speak about my project here at SMAC. And I'm happy that we have our annual convention. I feel like it really helps the community to unite on this special day. In the end, I'd like to show you a small preview of Candy Episode 2, Candy Secrets. Hope you enjoy. Bye!
I'm back. I'm sorry you had to wait. I'm making the order right now.
You look pale. Are you okay?
Looking pale is kind of my default. And sure, I'm good.
Thanks.
Hi, aren't you tired? Maybe you should take a break.
No, I'm fine. I don't need any breaks.
It can't be. Fucking moron.
Nan, is everything okay?
Sure, I just need to get rid of one pest sitting in my cafe. I'll be right back.
Hello, Bella. It's been a while. What a nice place you've got here.
Oh, shut up and come with me.
The weather is lovely today, isn't it?
What are you doing here, Terrence? Have you been spying on me?
I've recently moved to town. I didn't expect to meet you after all these years. It looks like you haven't aged a day, Bella.
I don't believe you came here by accident. You've been following me.
Okay, you saw right through me. I thought I could use your help. But from what I've just heard, I'm not the only one who needs a helping hand at the moment.
You've heard everything.
Yeah, I heard you're struggling to pay your rent on time. You could help me, and I could help you. Wouldn't that be great?
I'm done with illegal activities. Besides, I know what you were doing in the past after you left Europe, and I don't want to have anything to do with you.
You speak as if you were innocent. Meanwhile, I know your little secret, Arabella. I know that you were the one who killed your husband.
Going up the skies, cotton candy. Going up the skies, cotton candy. Stacking up your luck is in my community. Going up the skies, cotton candy.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Up next, we chat with Simsberry. Afterwards, CSIMPRODUCTIONS is here with the cast of Super Rich Lies.
I saw a war so big and devastating that words can't describe the horrors it would bring.
Hey Bree, welcome to this year's SMAC. It's so good to have you this year because last year I think you had a director's panel, right?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
That was a voice actress, yay! So I have some questions submitted by your fans today. Are you ready to answer them?
Yep.
Okay, so what drove you to start voice acting?
So in elementary school, I don't know if it's elementary school for you guys. I was like 12, I think, 13, something like that. I had a friend. I was a drama kid, and I had a friend in like my drama group who is like a legit voice actress in Slovene. Like she did the Frozen dub, like for like the child Anna.
Oh,
and I
wow.
thought, man, this is so cool. I want to be like her. And I don't know how, like I just knew about Sims community somehow, and I saw that there were casting calls for it, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. And I was talking to someone who like was in the community back then, and they were like very encouraging, like, yeah, you should go audition. So then I auditioned for some stuff, I didn't get in, and then I auditioned for stuff, and then I got in, and then then I started voice acting.
How do you prepare for a role? Because you have a lot of roles, so how do you prepare for each one of them?
Okay, so let's say it's like a role that I've done a few times. I'm very forgetful, and I forget what sort of voice I did, even though I have like zero range, but I still pretend like I have some range. So then I need to be like, what's the voice for this character? So I either go like search up the episode, or if it's available, or I like go through my like files and find
your old recordings,
previous recordings, and then I repeat the lines, and I'm like, okay, I'm this character now. Sometimes I actually have like one line that I just remember how to do. Like for May, I don't know why for May it works, like in Word University. I just say, that little germ has been stealing all my stuff, and then I'm sort of May. It works for her. I don't have lines for like every character, but I do for her.
Yeah, because I mean, some of your characters have really big personalities. It's just like you got to really like listen back to them, huh?
Yeah.
So the next question is, what has been your favorite role to take on so far, and why?
There's been a lot of roles, and I love them like for all different reasons. I know I just spoke about May before, but I really like voicing her. I know she has like 2 lines every like 3 episodes, like she barely appears. She's like a minor character, but she's just so fun to play because I don't know, she always gets such iconic lines, and I'm just there and I say them, and then I look back on the episode and I'm like, that's funny. Like even my friends who don't really watch Machinima, they quote like May's lines.
No way, that is so awesome.
Because they watched my like Machinima reel, like voice acting reel, and that's in it, and they're like, my life coach told me I shouldn't drink milk because it makes me gassy, and they say this all the time, and it's so funny.
That is so funny. And May is such an interesting character, so maybe season 2 she'll come out more.
I don't know, I hope. I want more May.
Do you have a certain character type that you prefer to voice the most, and are there any character types you wouldn't be willing to voice?
I don't really have like a favorite type of character.
Because they're all different personalities, huh?
Yeah, I like doing different things. Like it's boring if you do just like one character and so many shows, because I had a period where every single character I voiced had something to do with drugs. Either they took drugs or they sold drugs, had red hair, were into girls, and had like my like lower voice, like the moody voice, and that got kind of boring. So then I was really excited when I started getting characters that were more hyper and higher pitched, or like softer voice. But now I feel like I have like a good little arrangement of different voices that I do different characters.
What are the challenges of being a Sims Machinima voice actor? We often hear about the fun parts of the process, but have you ever experienced any difficulties? If so, how do you overcome them?
So voicing in Machinimas is super nice. I really love it, but Sims Machinima community does have a tendency to cancel stuff, or like to have a casting call that like just the episode never comes out, and like the casting calls aren't as annoying. Like it's whatever, like I'm not like emotionally invested in the show yet.
Yeah,
but there are times where I've recorded like 5 episodes, like a lot of lines, like, you know, that's like some amount of my time and like effort.
Yeah.
And the show like just never comes out. And that's kind of annoying. I mean, obviously the time that the director would put into the show would be a lot bigger, but it's just annoying. Like it comes with the community. I mean, I've canceled my show, but it's a bit annoying, especially when you get like a bunch of lines to record like at once and none of the episodes come out.
Yeah, no, that I can totally understand, because if you record it like so much and then you don't see the product, then I can understand it. That's why I think it's better to probably write out your whole series or half your series and then just go per episode to send to your VAs, because it is a lot. Like recording your lines can take a while, so I can totally understand that.
Yeah, like I don't mind like recording like 2 scripts in advance and then like, oh, maybe episode 1 is out and I already recorded lines for episode 4. Like then it's sort of like, oh, okay, at least 1 episode came out. Like this director is reliable.
Yeah.
The episodes will probably come out. But if it's like the whole season and I have not seen a single episode, then like I don't know, because by the time episode 10 comes out, it'll be like 5 years in the future. I might have like a new microphone. I don't know. It'll be weird, like listening back on my old stuff and being like, oh damn, I really want to watch this series, but this is like me embarrassing myself 5 years ago.
If only we can go back and re-record.
Oh, don't ask. Like I've had that happen. Like I've recorded like a whole season, and then it was like 5 years later, and they were like, oh my god, you got a new mic, and your voice is a bit different for like episode 11. Can you like redo all the previous episodes?
No.
So that's annoying.
So this is the next question I'm really excited to ask. So you got your first leading role this year playing Candy. How do you feel achieving such an important milestone?
I was so excited when I got cast as Candy. Like, I love voicing her. It's, like, I've been voice acting for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a while. Like, I have had, like, main-ish roles. Like, I think 2 other times in, like, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But they were, like, very, like, short series, and, like, they didn't really come out like only like 1 episode, so I sort of forget they existed. But Candy, I'm just so excited for it, because it's so nice when you open the script and you search for the name of your character and suddenly like the whole script like lights up with like the yellow highlights. I'm like, oh my god, my script. I'm gonna be in my room for like 2 hours recording these lines and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna do my best so I get other like big roles. And it's really fun because you get to explore like more range, like more emotions, because if you voice like a minor character, like you won't get to see them as much, and you won't get to like show off your skills or the lack of them. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome, and congratulations on this leading role. So we're so excited to see the next episode of it. So next question: out of all the characters you voice, who do you feel that you can most relate to? Also, is it helpful voicing a character who is similar to you, or do you prefer voicing someone who is totally different from your IRL self?
Honestly, I don't think I've ever voiced someone who would be like very similar to me. It's not like saying like, oh my god, I'm so unique, but it's like I voice a lot of like super preppy characters that are like into like, you know, makeup and stuff, like Candy or Taylor, you know. And I am kind of like that, but I'm also not like a cheerleader. I am a nerd, you know. I study math, you know. I like to play board games, and I'm kind of boring. So I don't think I've had like a character that would be like a nerd, you know? That would be more similar to me. I'm more like preppy character. Or drug dealers.
Yeah. No, but that's interesting, you know, just you're not like, you haven't found that character that's like you, which is good because we all want to keep our own identity to ourselves.
Yeah, we all want to be like, feel like we're so unique.
Yeah, we're so special. So what advice would you give voice actors that haven't gotten their chance at a big break?
Be patient. I think that's one thing I would say. Like, don't expect to get the main role as soon as you start. Like, go on Casting Call Club and see like the shows that you're interested in, and then audition for all the characters. okay, maybe if you really don't like a character, then don't.
Mm-hmm.
But don't just audition for the main roles, like audition for the minor roles, the roles that like don't have a lot of auditions, audition for extras. Because the first 2 years I was voice acting, I was on mom duty. Like I just voiced moms in like every single show. And I think that's like sort of something that everyone needs to go through. Because
Yeah.
if you only audition for like the top roles, like there's a bigger competition, you're not really gonna get in. And even if you voice like minor roles, people are gonna know about you. And they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I heard your voice in like this and this series, you know, maybe I want you to voice in my series. I think, you know, there's like a bit of networking in Sims community. Like, if I hear someone in a show and I like their voice, I'm gonna reach out to them, like as a director.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like be involved in the community and audition for smaller parts. I
Yeah.
think that,
Plus, it's good practice too for like working on the
Yeah.
minors. Yeah.
like you're not gonna get any practice if you don't get cast.
True.
So
True.
it's better to get a little practice than none.
Yeah. Very. Very true. So next question: what has been the most challenging character to play so far?
Okay, so I voiced some characters that went through a lot. I voiced like, you know, heartbreaking lines, like we need to cry. But the one that is the hardest is Wanda from Hiding Holiday. Because
I love her though.
there-
I love her.
I love her so much, but like just receiving a script from Kyle, I felt like I'm reading like the Holy Grail. Like the writing is so good and the punchlines and like it's so funny, but it's hard to be funny. And also the lines are like super long and there are like words in them that I've never heard before in my life. Like I don't know what the croquembouche is. How do I pronounce that? Like every sentence I had a word that I had to go to like Google Translate and be like, hello, how is this word pronounced? And now you need to like keep being funny and say these lines, and it's just pressure on pressure on pressure. But it ends up being cool, you know, because I love Wanda. I loved hearing my lines in the show, but it was very stressful and challenging.
Yeah, I mean, you could not tell that it was stressful and challenging because you nailed that role. I think like she's just a fun. I think from all the characters, she's the number one that I remember the most. So you did amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so last question, and this one is my favorite because I like to hear all y'all get all nervous about it. So it's Kiss, Marry, or Kill between Chelsea, Candy, and Leola.
So I know Donna asked this question. Okay. So okay, I'm gonna marry Chelsea. And that's because I think it would be dangerous to be married to Candy or Leola, because Candy, she has the whole like mafia thing going on in her town
right?
with family, and like I don't want to be involved with that. You know, I want to be safe. You know,
No, true,
and
true.
Leola, like she's working with Alyssa. Alyssa is gonna kill me. Like I'm really scared of Alyssa. So like, you know, sure Chelsea is like
The safe choice, you know.
financial issues, but like I don't care. Like she has like fake Gucci bags or whatever. Or maybe they're real, you know, and she's just like stealing the money from her family. But you know, I like Chelsea. And I like, you know, I like girls with red hair. Everyone knows it, and she has like little red in her hair. So I think that's I think that would work out.
Mm-hmm.
Then for Kiss, honestly, I don't know. I think I would kiss Candy. Or maybe no, I would kiss Leola. But fuck, no. This is hard. Okay, no. I would... Who do I think is a better kisser? Both of them. Okay, maybe Candy has a thing for... No, I was gonna say, like, Candy is me, but also Leola is me. I voice them. I'm stupid. Okay, let's just say I'm gonna kiss Candy, and I'm gonna kill Leola because I think that Leola is
a little bit more
honestly
dangerous.
Don't have. Yeah, maybe. I don't have like a good reasoning. I just had a good reasoning for marriage, but for the kissing and killing, I could like roll a dice maybe.
Flip
when
a
I had to
coin.
do it. Yeah.
Because either one of them you'd be happy with kissing or killing, so.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I would be happy kissing any of them. I wouldn't be happy killing any of them. You know, I'd have to do what I have to do.
So flipping a coin for the last two.
Yes.
Okay. Well, those are all the questions I have today. Thank you so much, Bree, for being a voice actress panel on this year's SMAC.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Coming up, CSIMPRODUCTIONS and the cast of Super Rich Lies. Followed by a sit-down with Stassi J.
The war between Alyssa and Dana has finally come to a head. Everything is going according to plan.
Don't you see? The minute you start turning against her, you are asking to have your head put in the guillotine.
Breaking news! San Myshuno has been put on lockdown after the mayor, Alyssa King, is suspected to have been held captive. Oh, that sounds tragic. I hope someone finds her.
Welcome everyone to SMAC 2024. My name is CSIMPRODUCTIONS, the creator of the Sims 4 series Super Rich Lies. It's been a crazy year on and off screen for the show, so I felt it was only right to get some of your favourite cast members together for this year's panel, and to answer some of your questions that you have sent in. Thank you all so much for being here. Now let's get into some questions. First question is, what draws each of you to your characters?
The thing that I really like about Alyssa is you never know truly whose side she's playing on, whether it's somebody's side or just her own side. There's always this turbulent relationship between her and most of the people around her. She's strong, she's independent, she's working towards her goals, and she's a dominant queen. I love her so much.
So for my Shuno Messenger, I was really interested in kind of getting to be that Gossip Girl narrator kind of thing. I wanted to have not too many lines because I was lazy at the time. And I liked the idea of just like, you know, like, oh, XOXO Gossip Girl, like that kind of thing. And for Dana, I mean, who does not want to be a head bitch in charge? I mean, that's just... like I love that kind of character, so that draws me to her as well.
I think Sylvester is a unique character for me. Like, I know that he's dealing with a ton of family drama, and he's got kind of like this struggle of doing the right thing versus, well, like, protecting his own interests. And I think it's kind of cool to play somebody who's not just good or bad. Like, he's really trying to navigate all of this emotional baggage and still be kind of a semi-decent person. And I think that kind of complexity is really engaging. Because if I'm being honest, at first I really found Sylvester not boring, but like not as interesting. And I think I've come to the realization that Sylvester kind of has this underlining, bubbling current of like mystery. And I think there's a lot to read between the lines. And I think going forward, I mean, it is touched on a little bit in an episode you guys haven't seen yet, but there is a lot more to Sylvester that I'm really excited to keep exploring.
Next question. If you didn't voice your own character, which one would you want to voice?
That one's pretty solid. If I had to pick anyone, it would be Carlos, I'm going to be honest. Mostly due to the fact that I love characters who are between a rock and a hard place. They are my comfort character. They probably shouldn't be, but they are.
If I didn't voice Catherine, I think my two characters that I would be interested in voicing would be Vanessa and Leola. I think Leola has a really interesting conceit as a character of like being complicit in the actions of someone that you're assisting, that you're helping. Like she has been helping and assisting Alyssa in all of this stuff, and she knows that Alyssa's bad, but she is kind of trapped. And I think there's a really interesting tension there. I don't want to say too much about Vanessa because she's a new character, but she has this impulsiveness and this youthfulness, and she's bold in a way. And I really like that in a character. I think it's really fun to have that kind of character. It reminds me, like, she reminds me a little bit of Kirby from Dynasty, the Dynasty reboot, who's a character that I really love. So I think that is a really fun character type to play.
Can you discuss any memorable moments or scenes from voice acting your role that had a significant impact on you?
I think the scene that had the biggest impact on me was the dinner scene. Because prior to that, you're like, oh my god, Leola, she's like an extra, a minor character. She's just there to like say her 2 lines per episode, blah, 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 and she's just there. But in that scene, you're like, oh my god, wait, she has a whole ass monologue? This girl, she's a bigger character than you previously thought. And that's cool, you know? I like having a bigger characters because that's more lines and more brie and more people that need to listen. Like, people need to listen to my annoying voice more. And I think that's a victory because that's what I want to achieve. I want to torture everyone on earth to have to listen to my voice and to my accent.
There is a scene where Sylvester is caught between Alyssa and Leola, and that I found was very intense. Like, there's this real sense of tension. Sylvester's trying to keep everything from falling apart, and you can really feel finally kind of like the pressure that he is under. And I think it's one of those moments where the weight of like all of the secrets and all of the lies just come crashing down, and it was really fun to voice that.
Finding out like the backstory between Dana and Melissa was, I mean, for me, the chef's kiss.
Okay, final question for everyone. What do you hope viewers will take away from your character's journey and the overarching themes explored in the series?
Okay, murder? Not ideal. Things that you should take away, I don't know, man. Hopefully nothing. She's not a very good person. So hopefully nothing. Actually, no. There's good things. There's good things.
I think with Catherine, she's learning how to be independent. She's learning how to depend on herself. I think a lot of her story is to me, that's kind of the parts that I look for with the character. I'm a very independent person. I think Catherine is a bit of a relationship girl. Like, she has this divorce with Jonathan, but then is kind of leaning on Dana sort of right away. And so I'm interested to see, like, in the moment when episode 4, when we see Dana in the concussion, like, seeing the way that Catherine acts on her own. How does she act when she's on her own? Like, how does she change? What is she going to learn from, like, all this stuff that's happening and going on? I think I would want people to take away the fact that, she's going through a lot of difficult things throughout this entire journey. And it's important to have that moment of self-reflection and take that step back. And, like, I don't know if Catherine's really done that yet. So I think maybe it's more of like a what not to do situation, although things have been crazy, so I'm not blaming Catherine.
I would love if viewers get a bit stressed, if viewers, start liking Leola and they're like, oh my god, no, wait, I'm kind of worried about her a bit. Stuff like that. That would be the best. And I hope that they pay attention to her braveness, her smarts, her courage, And yeah, her smarts again, because she's so smart. I love her. She's smart.
From my character specifically, I want people to take away the fact that even if your main idea of what you want in life doesn't work out, there will always be something. Patrick was an ex-musician. Even in the first episode, he admits that it just wasn't going anywhere. But despite this, he's still looking for something. And I think that's beautiful. And I think that's something that we can all relate to. I started off wanting to be an actor, whether it was on the West End or on Broadway. And I eventually got to where I am, and I love where I am right now. I love doing the voice acting bits on the side, and I love doing my main job. So there is something out there for everyone. It just takes time to find it.
I guess I hope that people see that it's okay to be flawed. Like, Sylvester's story kind of shows that even when you're at your best, or when you're trying your best, you can still mess up. And that's part of being human. Like, the show dives into some heavy stuff with family, betrayal, trust. And I think a lot of people will be able to see themselves in these characters and in these situations and kind of feel less alone in their own messiness. And I think that's pretty awesome. Like, Super Rich Lies kind of has this dark grey cloud cast over the whole of San Myshuno, and every single character is in the grey area, and that complexity is very fun.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I have had the best time listening to all your answers, and thank you, everyone, for watching. Enjoy the rest of the panel.
Hang tight, more SMAC after this short break. Up next, Stassi J's voice actor interview. And after, Draufilm gives us a sneak peek.
Hi, my name is Stassi.
And I'm Jannard.
I'm very excited here today to have a voice acting panel, and I'm really excited to have my really closest, dearest best friend, Jannard, aka Nardvillain, interview me today. So thank you for being here and, doing this with me.
Absolutely. I'm honored, actually. So what got you into voice acting?
And, it's a good question. I get this question quite frequently. Honestly, I'm just going to be really point blank with it. Money. That was a huge factor in it. Throughout the pandemic, I needed to make more money. I wasn't making the salary that I am making today. So I was trying to find other ways to make money. I was also a theater kid growing up. So I really liked acting, and I thought voice acting would be a great way to stay at home and, able to provide for my family.
Really nice. That's really cool. Now, what? And speaking of characters, though, what's like your favorite character you voiced?
Oh, Amy, without a doubt. And I have to clarify, I've played 2 Amys in my Machinima career. I play Amy on The Reaper. I also play Amy in Davenport, but OMG Sims is an absolute amazing guy. I took a chance on this random girl named Stassi 3 years ago to voice his lead character. And it's been such a journey. So it definitely Amy.
Nice. Now, would you say, is there a Sims director that you would love to work with in the future?
Honestly, I think it would be amazing to work with any Sims director in this amazing community. Not only just being a voice actor, like I would love to write scripts. I think that's something I'm also very passionate about, but I would work with anybody who wants to give me a small role, even if it's just like pizza delivery number 3. Every opportunity is such an amazing opportunity.
Nice. Now, you mentioned Amy as a character earlier. So speaking of Amy, like, how do you get into character like that for when you're recording the voice?
So what's amazing about playing Amy and like my friendship with OMG Sims is that we've worked together to kind of build Amy around my life. We mirror each other. So like in season 3, she's with her boyfriend, Kane, who is played by my real life husband, Jason. I got to the ability to design her in The Return of the Reaper. So I really just kind of get to play myself. And I think that's like the best part of playing Amy.
That's cool. Now, if you had to switch roles with another cast member, which role in the Reaper would you want to try voicing?
Oh my God. That is such a good question. I would definitely want to say Cassie. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I want to play the villain. I don't know
Ooh.
how many seasons I talked to OMG and I'm like, so Amy's the killer this season, right? And he'll be like, no. And I'll be like, damn it. I want to be a killer. I want to be the villain. I want to change. I always play like the Poppy bit. I mean, I can't swear. The mean girl or just like the valley girl. So I kind of want to like explore voice acting kind of more as like a villain, if that makes sense.
You know, I can see you as a Stas villain. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool.
Right?
How do you approach the process of auditioning for voice acting roles, and what strategies do you use to make your auditions stand out?
Very good question. So kind of how I approach the role is I specifically pick a character that I think I could voice. I think that's really important. I try to find young 20 Caucasian blondes, usually a little bit more on the salty side because I can like really play up my Valley girl. I don't audition for roles I don't think I'm gonna get. It's something that I learned pretty early on. Not only that, I try to bring life to every character I go into. And something I obviously I do, I've been on a lot of machinimas now. So I always do the 3 to 4 takes. I also then take what I would think maybe this character would say. And it has nothing against the writing of the person that wrote the script. It's always amazing. But it's just adding that little bit more finesse to make it sound real, like something I would say. That usually my improv lines usually will make it into the final product. So something I very much enjoy doing.
Nice. Now, how do you approach feedback from directors? How do you incorporate that feedback into your performance?
To be honest with you, I don't really get too much feedback besides thank you for submitting your lines. Everybody who does machinimas, it's a lot of it's unpaid. So voice actors are they're just really happy to have a good voice actor team. Now, if I was to get negative feedback, I wouldn't take it personally. And the reason I say this is I'm now sitting in behind a co-creator director's chair for forever and always. You have to respect the director's vision. It is their project. You're just a piece in the puzzle. So if they have a note, don't take it personally. It's just they had the vision of this scene in their mind. And if it's not what they want, they will ask you to do it again. It has nothing about you being not a good actor and actress. It's just fulfilling the director's vision.
Nice. What initially sparked your interest in pursuing voice acting?
Money. Kind of like at the top of this, but I actually had a lot of fun with it, especially throughout the pandemic. Something that I think I like the most is just, getting to be part of these machinimas, watching the machinima process. I speak quite openly about like EA kind of forgetting about the machinima community a lot. So I liked being able to shine a light as well on the community. I also just like having fun in voice acting. I mean, as we're all actors, we always get excited when we see our scenes on screen and share it with our friends and family, being like, I'm this. Like, I have played many various roles and my mom watches them all. So it's just precious. So again, it's just also getting to see the director's vision coming through at the end is another reason I love voice acting.
Nice. Can you discuss any memorable or challenging characters you voiced in the process of bringing them to life?
I haven't really had too many challenging roles. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never really pushed the boundaries. That's kind of why I want Amy to be villain in the Reaper 6, you know what I mean? But I just take every role, what it is, how big it is, how small it is. Do I have monologues? Do I have one line? Do I carry the script? Like it's just stuff like that. It's just any challenges come my way. I just try to do the best I can to overcome them. And I wish I had more of a negative experience, but so far I've just been basically playing Amy's for so long. So
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite aspect of bringing animated characters to life through your voice?
Oh, I just love imagining these Sims animations of what, like, how are they gonna animate my voice? Because I'm a pretty animated human, as you will contest if we filmed a lot of podcasts together. I'm just really curious to see like if I like make my eye, if I go like, like how are they going to animate that? So I
Mhm.
always I'd love to just, do like the fun little stuff or be like, okay, or like I see you, or just like stuff like that. So I love how the directors will be like, oh God, why did you do that? But I just, again, I love it. Just, bringing me to the
Mm.
table. So
Nice. That's it.
wow. Okay. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Nard, for coming here and interviewing me. Thank you, everybody who sent those audience questions. I really appreciate it. I love when the audience reaches out to me and wants to know a little bit more about the voice acting journey, because honestly, voice acting for Sims Machinimas is a lot of fun. So thank you again so much. Again, I'm Stassi. Nard Villain here. So thank you again. And also make sure to check out the Forever and Always panel. Myself, OMG Sims, and the whole cast, well, most of the cast, will be there talking about our short film. So please stay tuned for that. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Don't move. SMAC will be right back after the break. Coming up, director Draufilm. And after, BENIXPRODUCTIONS panel.
If you're lost, get lost, you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time.
Hi, thank you for joining me at the Sims Machinima and Animation Convention. I'm Dale of Draufilm, and I'm so excited to be here today. I've had the incredible opportunity to create renders for some of my favorite projects, including Ward University, Serenville Stories, Age of Darkness, The Canopsia Effect, and so many more. So it brings me great joy to introduce you guys to the artwork I've been asked to create for the upcoming sci-fi epic Polaris and the fantasy show we've always wanted, Gods of Eos. I'll also be sharing a sneak peek into my own upcoming projects. Let's start with Gods of Eos. I was asked to bring this mystical realm to life through my render. Here is an exclusive look at the render I created for Chapter 1. Creating this render was such an amazing experience for me. Working with Brie is always an absolute pleasure, and so it was easy to draw inspiration from her classical art. Next, let's venture into the sci-fi universe of Polaris. Polaris is an upcoming epic by Ward University's creator and my partner in crime, Simaboy, set in the world of Whimsy Alien's Legacy Challenge. I utilized the breathtaking concept from Mariam to create an artwork I feel is alive and full of motion. I am so excited for this, and you guys should be too. Now, let's take a small sneak peek at some of my own upcoming projects. Plead for Him is a graphic novel that is a direct follow-up to my short film For Him, and I cannot wait to show you more. Unicorn is currently being expanded a whole lot, and we're planning on releasing it as a short series now instead of one movie. And Bloodsport is still in the long writing process. My vision for these projects is to push my own boundaries of what I can achieve with Sims Machinima. I'm excited to keep exploring new techniques and styles to bring these stories to life. Working on Gods of Eos and Polaris has definitely influenced my approach, encouraging me to continue working and developing my skills exponentially. In addition to all my rendering, I've been hard at work writing for The Reaper and Age of Darkness. The upcoming season of Return of the Reaper is going to be killer, and Giamma is an incredible soul. And I'm so excited for the third season of Age of Darkness. It's a huge responsibility, but also an incredible opportunity to shape the story and its characters. And working with Benny is always a plus. So, thank you so much for joining me on this short but hopefully sweet panel. I hope you enjoyed the behind-the-scenes looks at Polaris, Gods of Eos, as well as a small glimpse into my own projects. Enjoy the rest of the convention and keep creating. Love you guys. Hang tight. We'll be right back after the break. Up next, BENIXPRODUCTIONS gives us a look into Age of Darkness. Afterwards, an interview with Raging Kitty X.
Who am I? You want to know?
Class, this is Anna, your new classmate.
So, what do you think about our new classmate?
The one with the weird hair?
I felt its spirit so strong it called my name.
I'm an Aglai. I guide lost spirits in crossing over to the underworld.
The last thing I remember...
What the hell is going on?
So I really did die after all. Am I a wandering ghost?
It's my fault!
Who are you exactly?
I'm the Newman of lost things, lost souls, and lost hope.
Hi guys, this is Benny here, or you might know me as BENIXPRODUCTIONS. I'm the creator of Age of Darkness, a Sims 4 Machinima series, and I'm here to answer some of your questions that you were kind enough to submit to me. And I also have a little surprise at the end of the panel for you, so stick around. So the first question I was asked is, Age of Darkness is a staple of supernatural machinima at this point. When did you begin working on it? What has changed since then? I started working on it in 2019, at the end of 2019, so almost 5 years ago, Jesus. But I was only really writing outlines, and I wasn't really planning on doing anything with it until the pandemic started in 2020, March of 2020. That's when I, suddenly had all this free time, and I was like, okay, so now is the time to get back into machinima. And so what has changed since then? Well, in the beginning, I was planning for Age of Darkness to be a mini-series, so it was supposed to be one season, and then that's it. And for that reason, the last episode of season 1, it was supposed to be the series finale, so it would have ended with Zelda dying, for example. And I did send out a script, which, if I recall correctly, I'm not sure about that, but I think I did send out the script where Zelda dies, and then I made some changes and, added the extra scene of Celeste entering the town. So yeah, that's it. And the next question is actually about Celeste, so it's good that I just mentioned her. Will Celeste join the main cast in season 3? I love her. Well, first of all, thank you. I love her too. But you're going to have to stick around for the end of season 2 to find out if she stays or goes. So I can't really answer that. The next question is, as we all know, you will have another person join the writing room for Age of Darkness season 3. What has that process been like? What are you looking forward to most? Yes, when I announced season 3, I also announced that Dale will be joining me in the writer's room. We have an outline. We haven't really started writing scripts just yet. I'm really close to finishing season 2, the last script of season 2, episode 10, and then we can start focusing on season 3. The process is it's really great. We have a shared Google Docs document where we type all of these ideas and storylines and new characters and everything, and it's just been really 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 fun to have another person and to kind of be able to rely on someone else as well. In the beginning, it was a weird, for me, I was really excited to have someone on the writers room, but I was also scared because I felt like I had to give up creative control, and since this has been my own series for so long, it was kind of a hard thing to click in my brain. But Dale has made it so much easier, and it's so fun to just brainstorm together. So it's really been a great experience so far. The next question I was asked is, who is your favorite character to write for and why? Recently, I started loving to write for Amaya because in season 1 she was kind of just there, and now in season 2 I get to explore new things with her, explore a little bit of a dark side to her, and it's really fun. It's not going to surprise you when I say that I also really love to write for Zelda and Celeste. They're just so fun and kind of the villains of the story, but not really villains in the way that they all could justify why they do things. So those are my top 3. The next question is, what has been my favorite arc to write and why? My favorite arc is definitely the Zelda versus Celeste arc, which is kind of just about to hit its climax. So I can't really say a lot about where it's going to go, but both of the voice actresses are phenomenal. They transform my average writing into something incredible. Is there any plotline or story arc that you would make changes to? Why or why not? Looking back, I regret not giving the Fire Witches enough depth in the first season, especially when they have the conflict with the mermaids or that one mermaid, Cleo. It's really just a tiny story in the middle of the season, and it's not really explored, and there isn't much depth to it. So I wish I've done something more with, you know, the characters as well. Bridget and Reese, they have so much potential, and I feel like I wasted that in season 1. And you know what, somewhat in season 2 as well, because they're not really in the front of the story. They're kind of like background, having their own things. Another thing I would change, I think, the storyline that Reese had with her abusive ex. I was very graphic with the violence towards Reese, and I feel like now, having evolved in the past 2 or 3 years, I would be more careful with the portrayal of, you know, sexual abuse and just abuse in general. So I feel like I would definitely change that as well. Can you delve into the world building process behind creating the vampire kingdom, the coven, and the dynamics between humans and mermaids within Eastbourne? When I started writing the show, it was kind of just there already, and I can't really remember what my thought process was, but I can tell you I kind of regret putting the story in one town. I think it would have been more fun to have a whole empire or a country or something like that. I wish I expanded the world beyond the limits of the town. The next question is, and it's actually the second to last, dialogue is crucial in storytelling. How do you ensure that each character's voice is distinct and authentic, especially within a diverse cast of supernatural beings and humans? Well, actually, I feel like this is one of the things I do the worst. I think I'm starting to do a better job, but I think there's still a lot to improve for me in this department, so I can't really answer this question if I'm being honest. And the last question is, what advice do you have for aspiring writers who want to delve into the supernatural genre? The most important thing you can do is just have the rules of your world figured out, even before you start. Because if you don't and you come up with new things as you go on, you might contradict yourself. I did make this mistake. I did not have the rules of my world figured out. And now when I come up with something to happen in the show, I have to go back, read all the past scripts to see if there's anything that would contradict my idea. And I do that. So, and it's a lot of work, unnecessary work, because I was lazy to come up with the world before writing the scripts for season 1. So the advice is, create the world first. Those were the questions. Thank you so much for asking all of these. I was really excited to be part of the convention this year after being absent last year, so it's good to be back. Since the first time I was here and the first ever Sims Machinima and Animation convention, I had a preview of season 2 of Age of Darkness. I thought now would be a good time to give you a preview of the upcoming episode of the second season. Enjoy, and thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of the convention. Goodbye.
Zelda, what the hell are you doing here?
I heard you've been wanting to see me, dear friend.
These people, they're dangerous. They are ready to kill anyone they wish to get rid of. You need to flee the castle.
You're a wonderful young girl, Rebecca. I love you.
If you let her turn, whatever will become of her will wipe out everything.
Get out. You are destined to do so much more than just be a law-abiding queen. Vampires were made to rule.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. After the break, a conversation with Raging Kitty X. Continued by PenyLn's preview of Bayview.
Hey Kitty, welcome to this year's SMAC. It's good to have you again this year, this time like as a voice actor.
Yes, I am super excited to be here again. I want to thank you guys for letting me be on the panel.
We're so excited to have you. I'm a huge fan of a lot of your shows, especially Bismal City is my favorite. So I'm good to get to sit down with you and interview today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Okay, so I got some questions submitted by your fans that I'm gonna ask you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so what initially sparked your interest into pursuing a career as a voice actor, and what do you find most rewarding about it?
Well, voicing, it kind of came suddenly, to be honest. I was starting off with the whole machinima making with the subtitles. So, but I was encouraged to do voiceovers because subtitles, I enjoy watching every type of machinima.
Yeah.
But voicing has always been something that I wanted to go after.
So from all of the characters you voiced, which is your favorite one?
My favorite would be Megan. Megan is my favorite.
She's a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's very like funky. She has a bit of attitude to her, so she's definitely the opposite of me. So I usually like playing something that's more challenging.
Yeah, because it's like you're stepping out of your own comfort zone to play somebody else, so it's fun.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Yeah. So the next question I have is: so what is the difference between voicing in your own projects and then other creators? Because I know you voice in a lot of your own projects. So how is it for you to voice in other people's projects?
It's a little nerve-wracking, but I am so honored to even be asked to voice something of theirs, and it encourages me to create other characters too for my own, and to give my characters a different attitude or some type of motive and things like that. I do get inspired by other creators.
Yeah. It's I think we all inspire each other in some way, so it's like also good to like voice in other projects, so you kind of get an idea of like other personalities as well.
Yes.
So are there any sim directors you would like to voice for in the future?
I would say you. I would love to voice for you.
One day. Oh God, like there's so many voice actors I want to work with in the community. I wish I had like tons of characters so I can have everybody voice for me. What would be your dream role? Like, what kind of personality or character would you like to voice? Because you play you play Meg, who's really bitchy. So someone from the opposite.
Yeah. I would say something completely opposite, like I don't know, like a fairy or something, like something like magical, but like really sweet. You know, I played a couple villains, so I'm like, I'm gonna switch it up a little.
Yeah, like because you play Meg and then you play like Olivia, because they have really strong personalities. So
yeah,
playing the opposite, maybe someone cute, someone nice.
Yep.
But like, you know, I think it's really fun to play a villain. Do you get to have fun playing like just playing big personalities, being like saying that you're the opposite?
Yes, I do. I do have a lot of fun playing like huge personalities. Like it gives me like I feel like I get more into character when I can like easily go like just like a snappy type of moment, like, you know, then they're arguing with each other. Olivia and Megan are arguing with each other, so it's like it's kind of easy for me now to, you know, snap, you know, with the characters. So I think like it'll be a little more difficult to do like a subtle, you know, soft, sweet voice.
Someone's so different. Do you find it weird, like you're playing these two characters and they have scenes together, like, oh man, that's my voice, like, because your voice sounds different, like that's me, same scene.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a little confused. I sometimes like slip and I'm like, oh, that's Megan's voice. That's not Olivia's voice or Peyton or I mess up sometimes. It happens.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, but it's such a talent because you can do like different ranges. So at first I was like, whoa, Kitty can do different tones and stuff. So that's like really impressive.
Thank you.
So the next question is, what is it like playing so many characters of the same series? How do you approach adapting a different and distinct voice for each of them?
I will say that it is, of course, it has its moments where it's challenging, but I feel like Megan has she is really confident in herself. I feel like Megan's very confident. And Olivia, she's she's kind of unsure of herself sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like I differentiate them. And as well as, you know, like Peyton, she's again confident, and you know, but it's I feel like they're similar in a way.
Like, do you like, because I know they're both distinct voices, do you have to do anything like different to kind of get into their ranges, like an exercise or anything?
With Megan, I have to make my voice more raspy, so I have to like kind of clear, like kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like I purposely kind of scratch my throat a little bit before I start speaking. For Megan, for Olivia, I have to go really deep, so that's a lot of like chest, a lot of chest pressure when I'm speaking as her. So that's how I do that when it comes to them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, because it's like two different tones. I mean, that I couldn't do. I've tried. I really suck at it, but like you do it so well. So like props to you to do two different tones and other voices and stuff like that.
Thanks.
So looking ahead, are there any are there any dream projects or roles you aspire to work on in the future?
I really like the futuristic cyberpunk type of vibe. So like anything, like if anyone has, you know, something like that coming out soon, I would love to join in. I just love the whole aesthetic. I love futuristic, like the idea of it. I mean, like right now, AI kind of freaks me out a little bit, but it's still a cool idea, you know. And I also kind of like the same thing, like mystical, fairy-like, you know, witches, stuff like that. I really want to join something like that as well.
Yeah, those are like really interesting, like series and stuff like that. There's not many, but it would be fun to be in something like fantasy type. That would be cool.
Yes. I just love that idea.
I know, it's so cool. I want to see more of those. Hopefully in the future we'll see like more, you know. I'm like I'm waiting for like a country fantasy cyberpunk. Like I love that whole idea. So I mean, I can totally relate. Yeah. Those are the kind of projects I would want to do too. So
yeah,
they're super cool.
That sounds awesome.
Okay, so last and final question, and this is like I love answering this because I love hearing people's reactions. So it would be kiss or marry or kill or hug, like for each character between Megan, Olivia, Piper, and Peyton.
Oh my. I would probably kiss Megan. She's just saucy. She's saucy.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot of sauce to her.
I would probably marry Piper. She's a very family-oriented woman. She sticks by her husband and takes care of her sons.
Very loyal.
Hill? Yes, she is. I would say kill. I would say kill Olivia.
Oh no! I just feel so bad for Olivia because I feel like she's gotten like the bad end sometimes.
Yeah, but you know, at the same time, she did end up putting her husband in prison, so that's pretty bad.
True. I mean, you know, I still kind of like her for I don't know. We'll see. But no, I can understand. Like she had no loyalty there, so
yeah. I would definitely hug Peyton. Peyton needs a hug. Her boyfriend died, you know.
Yeah.
And so she was I feel like she needs a hug, definitely.
Definitely. She really needs like a big hug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, that was fun. Like, I love when all the voice actors get, because you don't want to offend anybody, but then like these are your characters that you've created, so it's hard. It's hard to pick sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Well, those are all the questions I have for you today, Kitty. Thank you so much for joining us this year. It was awesome to sit down with you today.
Thanks for having me.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Coming up, PenyLn and Serendipitia talk the mystery of Bayview. And finally, the history of Machinima with ZSOVERMAN.
We are here to visit the prophecy. Now that she has arrived,
There's fire in the water. Go tell your sons and daughters.
a Darkulist has come into the world.
A Darkulist.
What happened?
The time has come.
Attacked her.
Is there any way to stop her?
I don't even want to think about that.
Hayden, if she can't come to her senses.
2, 1.
You don't think we'd have to?
It's just begun.
Hi, welcome guys. First off, I want to thank SMAC for putting this event together. We love seeing the community come together like this. I'm Penny, and this is Tia.
We're thrilled to be here at this year's Sims Machinima and Animation Convention. Over the past year, we've been working on a special collaboration series called Bayview.
The series is a mystery crime where we follow a group of college freshmen who are paired together to work on a college project, where they're allowed to kind of pick any project they want. Brooke, our main character, convinces her team to investigate the disappearance of Taylor Baldwin.
We want to thank everyone for submitting their questions this year. And yeah, so then, Penny, are you ready for your first question?
Yes, shoot.
The first one that people ask is, please can you tell us about how Bayview started and why a murder mystery series?
Wow, that's a good question. So I recently started picking up reading the past 2 years. Bayview was inspired by one of my favorite books, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And also One of Us is Lying. After I was done with the books, I thought this could be a really good sim series. But what if it was a group of mismatched students of different traits of life? Kind of like The Breakfast Club, which is actually one of my favorite movies. So I thought, might as well combine them all. So I started brainstorming and started writing scripts. Once I started writing up scripts for the main part of the series, we came up with the idea of the shorts. And those shorts will be following Taylor and Samuel and what happened 3 years ago. We wanted the audience to want to care about what happened to them as the main part of the series takes place. And with those shorts, I got inspiration by Heather's, mostly with the girls dressed in the colors that represent their main traits. And plus, it looks awesome. So if you have read the books and have seen the movies, you'll see the similarities in the show. And as for why a mystery series, there isn't much of this genre in the community, and I thought it would be a good addition to add.
Okay, so another person has asked, how did this collab begin? Penny, what made you want to work with Tia?
I was toying with the idea of Bayview back in 2022. I first asked Tia to make me a sim, which was Simon, and then soon after, I made the sims for Amber, Brooke, Andre, and Max. She then offered that Tia spark. Then afterwards, I ended up writing the script in one night. Yes, one night. I soon showed her my notes and my script, and we got on a call and decided to do a run-through. She was helping me edit it and refine it, and then offered some ideas. Within a few hours of that call, the collaboration just came naturally. And as for why I wanted to work with Tia, I'm a huge fan of Invisible,
and her dialogue writing is chef kiss. She's always been so kind to me through the years in the machinima world, and she's always been open to answering my questions. Whenever I got stuck on any script ideas in the past for my old series or shots, she would always jump on a call or offer some guidance. So when I first started in machinima, I really didn't know much about cinematography, and she's taught me a whole lot. It's a huge honor for me having her a part of this project because I feel she gives Bayview that extra sparks that it needed. And it's also fun when you get to work together with your friend because we get to laugh, cry, giggle through the whole entire process. Could you walk us through your collaboration writing process? How do you guys communicate, brainstorm, outline ideas, and divide tasks?
Well, from inception, we've always just operated in a way where we'll say to each other that there's genuinely no bad idea. So that way, we're not putting each other's input down, and we're promoting this safe space where we feel like, just comfortable enough to bounce ideas around without judgment. And we've also adopted a classic improv style of going, yes, and. So then, whatever idea it is that's on the table, we just keep developing and adding to the idea until it's this fully fleshed out thing and we're both happy with it.
Yeah, and I guess our writing process is pretty simple. I start with a draft of the script, trying to write all the points that need to be hit. We do have an area where we write things down, where we want things to happen in the series and the characters' backstories. Then the fun part begins. I will send a script over to Tia to have and read, and then we get a call for a first pass.
Yep, exactly. So when it's time for me to adjust the script or the dialogue or whatever, we'll actually be on a call doing a table read of what Penny's already come up with. And as we're reading out the lines, I'll be editing it simultaneously. So we'll be taking a lot of pauses. I'll be checking things with Penny along the way during the table read. As you can imagine, these calls get pretty long, so we're always sure to make time for one another and that our evenings are totally free. We also have to bear in mind that we have a 6-hour time difference between us, which makes things a little tricky, but seeing as we always keep in contact through like WhatsApp and Discord anyway, it's easy enough to arrange. Or we'll just give feedback through like voice notes and such. So the next question someone has asked is, what is the hardest and easiest part of making a collab project?
I think the hardest part would be time zones because, we have a 6-hour difference, so it's hard to get on calls. And as the easiest part, well, I think just everything else because it's just fun working on a project together. What advice would you give other directorial teams who are considering collaborating on a project?
Oh, I've got some advice from a co-writer perspective, if that's helpful. So I've always made it clear from the very beginning to Penny that Bayview is her story, it's her baby. I'm just here to help it along the way and, make sure it's consistent, that things make sense, there's no plot holes. Because personally, I think it is extremely important for a script editor or a co-writer to keep in mind the director's vision at all times and remember that, it's okay to take a back seat at times. I always say to Penny, no matter what, you get final say, whether that be on plot lines, dialogue, sim designs, set designs, she has to be the one to sign off on it, if that makes sense. I personally wanted to create this boundary because being a director myself, I know how needlessly controlling and obsessive I can be about my own stuff, so I just didn't want the same to happen here.
My advice will always be to keep an open mind and communicate, because without communication, it's going to be hard to work on a project with someone. Like Tia said, we both set ground rules, and we don't cross them. We're both creators, and I know we have our own way of doing things, but I do value her opinion and always take it to heart. And I do always include her in my process along the way by showing her dialogue ideas, story ideas, and clips while I'm directing. As long as you both communicate and both have an understanding, a collaboration can be very easy.
Next question is, how do you approach working with actors as a directing team?
I pretty much handle all the actors meeting their deadlines, but we both listen to all the VA lines. I have all the actors submit their lines in a Google Drive that Tia has access to so she can listen to whenever she has free time. If there are any lines that need to be redone, I'm the one that'll be contacting the voice actors.
Question here is, can you discuss the division of labor during production?
I guess our division is, I pretty much set the base of the script writing and the storytelling. But, we both work on the scripts together and, we both put our input on ideas here and there. When it comes to directing, I do the directing and Tia will help along the way, like making extra sims, custom content, ideas for posters, or helping me with input on filming a scene. It's always good to have a second pair of eyes.
Okay, so someone's asked, to keep things from being entirely spoilery, are there any particular dynamics you're looking forward to showing off?
What I am excited for is to film 2 timelines. We get to see how things play out for Taylor 3 years ago and what led to her disappearance. And then we watch the present characters try to solve our cases by interviewing characters and going around the town of Bayview. It's a lot of fun to plan out. It's kind of like having 2 shows going on at the same time. And it's also fun when the characters from 3 years ago also collide with the characters of the present.
Ooh, this is a fun question. So, what characters are your personal favorites? I think for me, it's the main 6 that has really stolen my heart. When we were writing them, I couldn't help but smile and laugh at all their interactions with each other because there is so many big personalities here that clash and that are super contrasting to one another. So for example, we have got Brooke, who is the main protagonist, which is being voiced by Penny. She is super passionate and enthusiastic about journalism. So as you can imagine, she's quite nosy, a little bit annoying, but she actually gets stuff done through a cool supernatural ability, which we'll explore later, I'm sure, and tell you about another time. But she's really fun. And then we've also got Amber, who is the one I voice, and she is this pretentious, bitchy princess. Think Victoria Chase from Life is Strange, and that's her. We've also got Ferris, who is my OC, of course, so I do have a soft spot for him, even though he's way more arrogant in this series, so you'll see a different side to him here. And then Andre, he has some of the best dialogue. He is so fun to write for. He is confident, sassy, funny. Love him to death. We've also got Max, who is just so gorgeous, so sweet, so cute. I just want to put her in my little pocket and protect her always. And then we've also got Simon, who is this really, really socially awkward, nerdy computer guy. Think Elliot from Mr. Robot, and that's Simon. So yeah, I just can't pinpoint one character because I really love them all.
Favorite characters, I think that's pretty hard because I think everybody is expecting me to say Ferris. But before him would be Amber, Andre, and Evelyn Forbes. Amber, because she's got this bitchiness and you can't help but like her too at the same time because, she speaks the truth. And I love the way that Tia plays this character. I think she is such a talented VA and she brings this character to life and I enjoy watching her on screen. And then we have Andre, who is played by Kyle, FLF Pictures. He has the best dialogue. Like, his delivery and the dialogue is so amazing and so funny that I wish Andre was my best friend in real life. And then Evelyn Forbes. Oh, God. So Evelyn Forbes kind of just started as this probably minor character. I really was like, okay, I'm just gonna have a reporter. And once I offered the role to Ruby and she just took her to this other level that I was so amazed with, I just fell in love with her. Like, her dialogue, she's got this fire in her and she's this gossip queen and she's just so amazing. So those would probably be my top 3 picks. I do love my main cast, but those are the 3 that I always look forward to seeing on screen. What do you think are the advantages to having 2 directors on a project?
Well, when you're working on a solo project, sometimes things can get a little stale. especially when you've got no one else to bounce ideas off of or to even like hype you up when you've just filmed like a really cool, fun section of a scene and you just want to show it off to someone. I think machinima making is traditionally quite a lonely hobby, and I'd imagine just having someone else there must be motivating, right, Penny?
Right, yeah. Having another set of eyes or having that person you can talk to during your filming process is a huge benefit. Two minds work better than one. Like she said earlier, sometimes it can be very lonely on your project, and having a co-writer, but most importantly, a friend to join you on this storytelling journey makes the whole project so much more rewarding. Well, guys, those are all the questions we have. Thank you so much for submitting. We had a blast answering them. We really hope that our panel brought some information to how collaborations work. This is just our take on how we work. Everybody else is different. I also want to say it's been so much fun working with Tia. We have such a blast, and I look forward to writing more episodes with her. We also want to send a huge shout out to our cast. You guys are amazing and have really brought these characters to life. And also, one special shout out to Raskow, who has made some incredible animations for Bayview and has really brought it to life. Thank you. Well, guys, thank you. That's all we have for today, and hopefully we'll have the next episode for you soon.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. And finally, the history of machinima with ZSOVERMAN.
Inferior Code 147. Corporal Wolfric Francis Baines. I sentence you both to die by firing squad. Any last words?
Naked, clueless, without cigarettes. This is how bad days begin.
So I created my first machinima film in a different century. 1998. So machinima had been around even before it had that name, machinima, but it was a lot of work related to playing video games, exploiting video games, and there was some amazing stuff that arose out of that, but it wasn't exactly a nice playing field for someone who just wanted to tell normal stories with normal human characters. And then The Sims came along and I started seeing what some people were getting out of that game in terms of making movies and thought, whoa, this is very appealing. Some of the elements that were significant would be built-in camera controls, a very elaborate access to commands and cheats through the console. And then the custom content scene just exploded, and even to this day in The Sims 4, that's a huge part of what drives these unique-looking characters and scenes and environments and stuff is the custom content community. So yeah, the first film that I decided to undertake in The Sims 2 was going to be kind of a mock public service announcement, the title of which ended up being Male Restroom Etiquette. Think of it like, you know those cards that they used to have in the airplane seats that you'd open them up and it would be like these animated drawings of what to do if the oxygen mask dropped down and stuff like that, the airline safety cards. I always pictured that this is kind of like an animated version of that. So yeah, I created the film. I knew it was funny, but I had no idea that it was going to explode the way it did. And part of the reason that happened was back in that day, YouTube actually had a homepage. like a front page that everybody saw. And not due to any marketing or connections or savvy on my part, just somehow it got noticed by one of those curators for the YouTube homepage and put on the homepage, and I had 1 million views in a day. Like, it was unbelievable. But if you want to see what somebody could really do with The Sims that was beautiful from that era, you look no further than Britannia Dreams. And this was a production company helmed by 2 women, one of which I knew a little bit better than the other, Michelle. So they created a film called The Snow Witch, amongst many other films that they made, but I feel like this one is just really something extra special. It's just gorgeous. It's this fairy tale with an Eastern origin, wonderfully narrated, and I mean, it's just beautiful, and it holds up pretty well. The Britannia Dreams, they were known in the Machinima community as very beautiful and detailed sets and costumes. Yeah, it's considered a classic. I'm pretty sure it won some awards. I've kind of lost track of what those were, but it's a piece not to miss from that era, that's for sure. Now, kind of on a different end of the spectrum is the third film that I'll mention. It's actually a trio of films called The Fixer. It's very grown up. Is that fair to say? It's politically incorrect. It's got this anti-hero character, Ernest Rent, who is an assassin, but by the end of the 3rd chapter, if you weren't already in his corner, he ends up, his situation is very sympathetic. It's tremendous. The way that the writing is done, it's full of metaphor and turns of phrase, and nothing is really on the nose. Very poetic. Driven largely by narration of the main character, but there are some points where there's actual voiceover, some tremendous voiceover in the 3rd chapter. Yeah, The Fixer is really one to see. Something interesting about both of those films, The Snow Witch and The Fixer, is that the creative leads on those films ended up going to work professionally to do, essentially, to be involved with either with that video game's production or with machinima related to that video game. Michelle went to work for BioWare, and the creator of The Fixer became, and is still currently, one of the higher-ups at EA in charge of the Sims games, still to this day. So let's go on to some of your questions here. What drew you to celebrate Sims 2 Machinima's early days? Well, that's a simple one. That's the Sims 2 Machinima that I know. You know, it's not that I haven't watched any made with 3 and 4, but I'm much less familiar with it, and I'm not actively making it with that, because I'm old and that's what I know, okay? Can you share a bit about your background and how it has influenced your project? Well, yeah, I don't have any professional background related to filmmaking, animation, anything like that. I am a true dyed-in-the-wool amateur, and I do it for the love of it. I've been involved with Machinima, like I said earlier, for just over 25 years now, on and off, which is amazing. So, yeah, I would say my background is Machinima itself. Like, I didn't have one coming into it other than, you know, I was a guy who grew up loving to make movies with his camcorder or record audio dramas on cassette tapes. That hobby goes way, way back. But really, most of my experience is since I got involved with Machinima, not before. Since your project focuses on Sims 2, can you share what Sims 2 directors or Machinimas have had the most significant impact on your work? Well, I've kind of answered that in the previous segment. If I had to pick 2 directors that influenced me most, it would be these 2. I studied what they did and tried to learn from it and get better from seeing how they did things. Can you walk us through your process of bringing your project from concept to completion? Yeah, I'm a writer at heart, so everything always begins for me with, you know, the written screenplay or story or that kind of thing. I spend a lot of time there. I often spend more time there than I do on the production itself. The production itself just kind of sprouts out of the fertile ground that the good writing, you know, if I can get it to where it's good, the movie just kind of grows out of that naturally, really. It's not that there aren't, you know, skills and craft involved in the making of the movie. Of course there are. But to me, the most challenging part of making a movie isn't how to get the characters to behave or how to pick out the right costume or set. It's making the decisions about what to even show. You know, the director decisions. How should it be captured? How should it be presented? To me, that's the hard part. It's the hardest part to learn, probably the hardest part to teach. Anybody can learn how to manipulate the game or use the different mods or find your way around the world of custom content. Anyone can train themselves to do audio and music better, you know. But actually having the vision and coming up with the idea and then how to execute that idea, That remains the hardest part for me, and also the most rewarding, right? What do you hope audiences will take away from this project? Well, I don't know. I hope something more than just nostalgia. I think more important than the fact that these films were made many years ago is to keep in mind that everybody who made these films were not professionals. They were amateurs, just like most of us are. And most of what they learned, they taught themselves. People who knew less than you do, who put the time in to figure things out, created these things. What advice would you give to aspiring machinima creators who are just starting? I kind of covered that in the last one too, didn't I? But it basically, to keep in mind that you can do this. That this is what you're seeking to do is achievable. It's all a matter of just being willing to be teachable, to being willing to learn, being willing to make some mistakes. Not every production that you release needs to be perfect, and frankly, not every production you make is going to be perfect. In fact, probably none of them will, right? None of them are going to be perfect, but just create it, just make it, and then you learn from it, and maybe each one is a little better than the last. But the actual process of making it can be the fulfilling part in this world where it's really, really hard to get eyes on what you've made, and even when you do, there's this feeling that nobody's going to appreciate this as much as I do as the creator. You're probably right. So you better love the process, because there may not be a whole lot of hand clapping when you're done, but that's okay if you love the process of creating it. Are there any directors you would love to collaborate with in the future? There's one. My friend Ricky Grove, who I do a podcast with. I've known him for 25 years. We've never actually co-directed, co-produced a film, and I hope that we'll get a chance to do that. What are your thoughts on the current state of Sims 2 Machinima, and where do you see it heading in the future? I don't know, is there current Sims 2 Machinima? There may be, and I'm just ignorant to it. I can't remember the last time I've seen a new Machinima production with it, and why would you when The Sims 4 is around? Do you have any upcoming projects that you're particularly excited about? Yes. None that I'm going to go into detail here on. If you'd like to see more on that, check out my YouTube channel, or I've got a Patreon where I go behind the scenes. That's where I talk about that stuff. So, can you share any insights or lessons you've learned from past projects that have influenced your approach to creating machinima? Prioritize finishing the project over every single little detail being perfect. And I'm not saying lower your standard, but the more you do this, you're going to get better at getting near perfect results with less effort. But the tendency with perfectionism is it can really be an enemy, because you'll get so self-critical that you just decide, maybe this isn't even good enough to put out there at all. That's a deadly trap. Finishing is important. There's a bit of an endorphin rush from actually completing and releasing a film that you don't want to go too long as a creator depriving yourself of that. Hey, thanks for having this old man on your show. It's really cool to be a part of this, and I hope this was interesting. Thank you.
Yay! Okay, I just very quickly just wanted to say thank you to all of the viewers, all of the participants of this year's event. The lineup this year was crazy. It was insane. Honestly, I'm so excited for what's to come. Everyone did such an amazing job. So thank you to the fellow Team SMAC members for helping us out yet another year. Dale with his amazing graphics. Are you kidding? But yeah, no, I will see you all next year. This has been so fun, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Labor Day!